Hello there, and welcome to Play the Game with Steve. In this episode of Beyond the Precon, we're going to be looking at Brunhilde Valkyrie. We're going to take a look at her signature cards, her signature mechanic, her gameplay, what makes her unique, what cards interact well with each other, and we're also going to take a look at her pre-constructed deck and how we can upgrade that to give you a better play experience. And then finally, we're going to look at some of the hero packs that can really truly enhance her gameplay. All this and more on this edition of Beyond the Precon, Valkyrie. Alright, full disclosure, Brunhilde Valkyrie is probably my least favorite hero of the game. I have issues with some of the game design, the mechanics of her kit, but that is issues that I have, and again, I've been very vocal of this outside of my videos and even in my other previous videos, but this is for people that are interested in Valkyrie. So I'm still gonna be objective and just give her as much credit where credit is due to what she can do really, really well. All right, that being said, let's take a look at Valkyrie Brunhilde. All right, Brunhilde is from Asgard. She has a hand size of 6 and a recovery of 4. She has 12 hit points, and she has a setup ability that says set the deck glow upgrade aside out of play, and then not this day, which is an action to detach the deck glow and set it aside out of play. Now, this caused a little bit of controversy. One is because setup normally happens after mulligans. So if you remember Captain America's shield, Black Panther's upgrade, you go get something, and this all happened after mulligans. Now, the reason why it was weird is the deck glow is actually card number 1 out of 16. So if it would have been card number 16, it would have been an easy, okay, 16 is not part of the 15 hero cards of her kit. So now the big debate was, does I include this? Is it part of the 40 card deck minimum or not? So again, I'm in the mindset, look, they probably made a mistake. It should have probably been card number 16. It says to set it out of play. It's supposed to exist out of play. It doesn't say permanent, so that's probably another little issue with the card. But there's no resource on it. There's no nothing on it. So for me, it's just a card that's outside of play and it does nothing. All right. So that being said, let's take a look at Valkyrie in hero form. In hero form, Valkyrie is an Asgard and an Avenger with a hand size of 5. She has 1 thwart, 2 attack, and 1 defense. So pretty mediocre stats if you, aside from the attack, just like, yeah. So 1 and 1 there, that's always hard. She has Death Perception, and that is a hero action to play the set aside deck glow upgrade as if it were in your hand. Now that's pretty interesting. So technically, instead of spending 2 cards, so normally you spend the card that's in your hand to play it, so you have to spend an extra one. The fact that the deck glow is 1 resource to equip it, and it's always potentially in your hand. So the only other way, so once the deck glow is equipped to something, the only way to unequip the deck glow is either by defeating the enemy or by flipping to alter ego. 2 things in an aggression deck that are sometimes a little bit tough. All right, that being said, let's take a look at the deck glow. The deck glow is a 1-cost upgrade that says attached to an enemy. It is a condition with a forced interrupt. When attached enemy is defeated, set this card aside out of play. And if Valkyrie defeated that enemy, ready her. So that's pretty cool. So technically, if I defeat a whole bunch of enemies, I could just spend my hand, attach it to a minion, defeat that minion and ready. Defeat that minion and ready. Defeat that minion ready. So with 5 cards, I can defeat 5 minions, potentially, which seems pretty great. But the thing is, she only has an attack of 2. So most minions have a minimum of 3 attack. Only a handful have 2. So that makes that a little bit difficult. Now also, but the fact that she can ready once she defeats it seems, like I said, it's something pretty cool. And that is probably her biggest strength. If you can bring up her attack a little bit and focus on killing minions, man, you're going to have a hell of a good time. It's going to be a slay fest. If it's a scenario with little minions, maybe that deck glow wants to get attached to the villain. But again, if the deck glow gets attached to the villain, the only time you'll get to ready Valkyrie or unattach the deck glow is if you flip to alter ego or defeat that villain, which might be a little bit difficult depending if you're playing solo or multiplayer. Multiplayer, obviously, it's probably not that hard to flip down to alter ego, but in solo, you really want to think before equipping that deck glow to the villain. All right, now let's take a look at her signature cards that are actually part of her 15 hero card kit. And the first one you definitely are looking for as quickly as possible is her Dragon Fang. It is a weapon from Asgard that is restricted that says she gets +1 attack, so then she becomes a 1/3/1, which is pretty good. And then if she's attacking the enemy with the deck glow, she gets +1 attack. So now she becomes, +2 attack. So then she becomes a 1/4/1. Now 4 kills 80% or maybe even 90% of the minions out there. So that is extremely powerful. So that upgrade there is gold. Finding that is a priority number 1. All right. Then we have her spear. Then your spear is another restricted weapon from Asgard. So this, again, you got to remember, we are only allowed 2 restricted items per character. So if you're playing the spear and Dragon Fang, you'll need to get something from another hero pack to be able to add another weapon. So the spear gives you a +1 defense, so it brings you up to 1/3 or 1/4/2. But if you are defending against the enemy with the deck glow, you get +2 defense. So you get a 3 defense, which is pretty interesting. And now, again, I always find it funny. It only gives you a boost in stats. And I would have really liked that this card would have had piercing because it is a spear. And spears tend to make holes and stuff. So I would have kind of liked to have that spear with piercing. But that's just me. All right, then we're gonna have a Aragorn, which is which is an Asgard creature that gives her +4 health and gives her the aerial trait, and that is again another important thing that you want, the aerial trait, because there's a lot of very fun cards in all the aspects that play off the aerial trait. So getting the Aragorn is a very good priority and boosts her health up by 4 to bring her up to 16. Which is very, very fun. Then we have Valhalla, which is a support card, which is an Asgard location with a response. After Valkyrie attacks and defeats the enemy with the deck glow, exhaust Valhalla, draw a card, and heal 1 damage. So this is pretty fun because then it allows you to equip the deck. It gives you an extra card. It allows you to heal. So it kind of wants you to stay in hero form and just kind of kill stuff, which is basically what Valkyrie likes to do, kill stuff, which is very cool. And then there you go. So you heal 1 and draw a card. Always nice. Then we have 2 flights of the Valkyrie Ryor. So these are 2 cost upgrades that say after the enemy with the deck glow is defeated, you can discard Flight of the Valkyrie and remove a 5 threat from a scheme. Now, what's very interesting about this card is you can just put it out, equip the deck glow to an enemy. Even if Valkyrie is exhausted or she can't kill the minion, anybody can kill the minion, and then you can remove 5 threat for 2 is very, very good. But you need to have attached the deck glow to that enemy, and that enemy must be defeated. So it's a great card. It's a 2 cost. It can stay on the table until you need it. But that 5 threat is huge. So in solo or in multiplayer, this is very fun. But again, a little expensive because it's technically 3 because you have to equip the deck glow on something and kill it. So there you go. Then we have her signature ally, which is kind of special. Annabelle Riggs is a 2 cost ally with a 1 thwart, 1 attack, and 2 health, and has an alter ego action, which says you can exhaust Annabelle to search the top 5 cards of the deck for a Valkyrie card and add it to your hand, and then you shuffle the rest of your deck. I I don't know why that is not just a support card, but instead of an ally. But yeah, so it's one of those little quirky things that I have about her hero kit. So this is okay, but as an ally, not my favorite card. All right, now let's take a look at some of her events. So we have the Visit Valhalla, which is another alter ego card, which says return a Valkyrie card from your discard pile to your hand. So that is pretty fun. If you've lost, let's say, your Aragorn, or if you lost Valhalla, or if you need Flight of the Valkyrie Ryor, you can always go and get that card back. It's a zero cost event that you can only do in alter ego. Yeah, so there you go. And then we have Chooser of the Slain, which is a fun card here. Kind of like Defender of the Nine Realms for Thor. We have Chooser of the Slain. It says, search the encounter deck and discard pile for a minion and put it into play, engage with you to draw 2 cards. So this is pretty interesting. I think a missed opportunity here would have been to, say, attach the deck glow to that enemy. That would have been a fun interaction that I kind of wish would be in there. But drawing 2 cards, because basically this one, the reason I'm like, it's you're getting a minion. So if there's only really bad minions in the deck, you might not want to go pick one up. So this card basically replaces itself to draw an extra card. So it's 1 for 2. It could be good, but now you have to spend 1 to equip the deck glow on that enemy to be able to kill it and ready. So anyway, so if there's little minions that don't have a lot of impact on the game, it's a great card. If not, if you're playing against, let's say, the Sinister Six that have like 5-6 health, you might think twice about using this card. All right, then we have Shield Maiden, another interesting card here, which is Hero Interrupt. When the enemy with the deck glow attached attacks, declare Valkyrie as the defender, and without exhausting her, that's just pretty fun. And then she gets +2 defense for this attack. So it is not a defense card, which is kind of weird. It doesn't have the defense trait, which I think it does, again, is a missed opportunity. But it also says you can use it if on a minion, you're going to get a 3 defense, maybe 4 defense if you have the spear. Actually, 5 defense if you have the spear on a minion. This is, I think, something that would be another missed opportunity to have it attached to the villain. Attach dead glow to the villain when the villain attacks. But again, these are my opinions, not here. So I'm not even sure if this is going to make the cut in the video or not. But yeah, so Shield Maiden here, it's one of those weird cards like, am I ever going to use this card to defend against a minion attached with a deck glow? 1 damage. Like, most minions do 1-2 damage. It could be interesting if you have these really powerful minions that attack for like 3 or have villainous. Then it kind of becomes interesting. But then most of the time, like, I have a hand size of 5. If I spend 2 resources to do a Shield Maiden, my turn might be a little weaker. So it's one, again, of these questions on her kit. What do you want to do? And then finally, she has her big attack event, which is the Havati. And she has 3 copies of those. And it's a hero action attack to deal 7 damage to an enemy. And if that enemy had the deck glow attached to it, that attack gains overkill. So there you go. So that's actually a very well designed card. Because since you definitely want to start attaching the deck glow to minions, being able to go through them with overkill makes a lot of sense. So you can finally deal damage to the boss. Now let's take a look at her hero kit, her pre-constructed deck, and how we can make it work. Alright, her pre-constructed deck come with 7 reprints, the 2 powers of aggression, 2 combat trainings, and the 3 double resources. Some new cards in aggression that kind of have the that synergize with the attack matters strategy. Your attack power matters. Cards like the best defense, which says it uses your hero's attack when you defend. So you're defending with your attack power, which is pretty interesting. We have Smash the Problem, which is a new thwart event. Again, you can exhaust your hero to remove threat from a scheme equal to your attack. And then we have the Quick Strike, that says the attack and deal damage to an enemy equal to your attack. This is the card I was mentioning earlier that if you have the deck glow equipped and you're using this against the minion or the enemy, it's going to give you the bonus that of the deck glow because you are attacking that enemy. All right, and then we have new allies within Thor and Trog. And then the aggression cards that we have seen before, we have this Audacity from Mad Titan Shadows, Hall of Heroes from the Thor Hero Pack if you've missed it, and then Angela that came with the Gamora Pack. So we got a few reprints. And then we have some new, very fun Asgard cards within the Bifrost, which allows you to search your deck for an Asgard ally and pay its cost. So this is pretty fun. So normally you have to pay the card. So you can go and pay Exhausted and look for Angela for 0, put her into play, pay 0, and then you have a tutor for an Asgard ally. Super, super fun. And then you have the Godlike Stamina that allows you to heal damage and remove a status effect, a negative status effect. So pretty interesting. All right. So again, cards that this deck, what it wants to do, again, in the theme of Valkyrie, one of the things that I struggle with this deck is because there's a lot of things that ask you to exhaust. So Smash the Problem is a fun one, but it asks you to exhaust. And because you're exhausting with your attack ability, so unless you have a combat training and the deck glow, the Dragon Fang, you're going to be exhausting, and for 1, you'll remove 4 threat in aggression, but then you're exhausting to do that. I'm also like the best defense, 0 to prevent maybe 4. When you have the deck glow attached, you can prevent 3 already. For me, it's kind of like, okay, they kind of threw a bunch of aggression cards together, new cards for a different style of play. But for solo, it was very, very difficult to play this. I think there was a lot of damage cards that were lacking. The Quick Strike is a very fun card, though. I love this Quick Strike. Then you kind of want to play Thor to eliminate minions, but if you're eliminating minions with Thor, then you're not really triggering her deck glow ability. So it's kind of like the deck was a little bit all over the place with no true purpose. So let's try to fix that here with a couple of replacements. So the first thing I would remove, and I would remove the 3 best defenses. We need to attack in this deck. So these 3 need to go. The other ones that need to go, Smash the Problem, I really do enjoy, but they don't make the cut because you have to exhaust. So these are 3 other cards that I'm taking out right now. So that is 6 cards out of the deck. The last one I would remove is the Audacity. So that is 7 cards out of the deck that I would remove because the Audacity is just 1 damage. It is a wild resource, but it's not that. So we're going to focus on what she can do well. I'm leaving the 2 combat trainings. Normally I don't do that, but because she is really dependent on having a high attack, we want to make sure that we can get a combat training early or her Dragon Fang early in the game. All right, so these replacements are very, very simple. So because we replaced the Smash the Problems, we're replacing this with 3 Chase Them Downs. This will go with the theme that we want to be killing minions as much as possible in the deck. The other one, again, is going to be the 3 Relentless Assaults. Why? Because, again, we need to be killing minions. We need more attack events to be able to defeat minions. And then being able to trigger these things is pretty primordial. And then finally, I would be adding Nick Fury. Again, we need a 2-thwart ally in this deck. Nick Fury can either draw you some cards, or he can remove 4 threat when he comes into play. Not taking away from the Flight of the Valkyrie Ryor, but most of the time in a solo environment, 5 threat is very rare that you'll need to remove 5 threat from a side scheme or from the main scheme. It'll mostly always be like maybe 1 or 2 or 3. So that extra 2 is super good in multiplayer, but sometimes in solo it's a lot of overkill, over threat removal. All right, so this is what I would recommend as a deck. Again, being very aggressive, trying to stay in hero form. There's no real reason to go to alter ego unless you've equipped the deck glow to the villain, and and then you can't manage to kill him. So hopefully with these upgrades and your Havatis, you'd be able to take out the villains no problemo. All right, let's take a look at some of her hero packs that I would, because I'm already past my 20 minutes. There's been so much stuff to talk about with this hero, so I definitely need to wrap it up pretty fast. I'm going to talk about some of the hero packs that are really, really going to help her just be the best hero she can be. Alright guys, so if there was only one hero pack that I would get, and the hero pack would be the almighty Thor. That's right, Thor came with some really fun cards that can really help her increase. So when she has her weapons, I'm pretty sure Dragon Fang is a weapon and her spear is a weapon. So these are two upgrades that she can use to exhaust to do some mean swings, so to really increase her attack. So that's a really fun card from the Thor deck that goes well with her. As well as Battle Fury and Yonborn, but then it's another weapon, so you can only have two, so you have to decide what way you want to build. And Heimdall, and there's one card that's still a little bit controversial. The Valkyrie ally. It is another Asgard ally, but because it's an Asgard and an Avenger, and she's an Asgard and Avenger, and she doesn't have the key. Normally it says who it is in the back, but since it doesn't say Brumhilde, some folks are at the mindset, well, is it the same character? Is it like Hawkeye? Can there be two Valkyries? Because obviously we saw in the movies there's thousands of Valkyries. I'm of the mindset, you know what? It doesn't say it. It doesn't have an alter ego, so you can decide. It doesn't say Brumhilde. So, but we can clearly see it's the same character. So then again, it's up to you to decide if you want to be able to include her. But if you're like, no, I'm pretty sure that's the same character, well then don't include her. And that's a choice that it's a personal choice you'll have to make when you play the game. All right, the second one that I would recommend would be Rocket Raccoon, Galaxy's Most Wanted. Just for cards like Looking for Trouble, again, to help with threat control. Hand Cannon to give her some overkill that she desperately needs from her basic attacks. And then Into the Phrase, again, more threat control by killing minions. What more could you want? So Rocket Raccoon would be my second choice. And then there's a few honorable mentions. So the first honorable mention would be Star-Lord. Again, gives us a lot of nice aerial cards. Again, cards like Air Supremacy, Agile Flight, Ever Vigilant, best one ever. And then the Dive Bomb. Again, fun cards that you can use with Star-Lord in every aspect. So I thought that was interesting here for Valkyrie. Since she can get the aerial trait, makes it very fun. And then finally, we have the Ant-Man as the last honorable mention. Just because of team building exercise, really. Because again, there's a lot of Asgard cards in her kit. Kind of like Thor. So it's just a way to, if you're building her with Asgard and some Avengers and stuff like that. So you can have some fun. And then finally, a Moment of Triumph. So you can use those Havatis to heal up some dinos that you would be taking. All right, so that's it for the recommendation. Overall review, Valkyrie can kind of go in a lot of different directions. What my challenge for me was with some of her cards, it's because every card is dependent from another card. So leaning into a certain strategy with Valkyrie, it seems a little bit more challenging. If you're going for minion killing, you really want to find her Dragon Fang. If you're and then the combat training. If you're going for aggression, if you're going a more protective build and you want to just, I'm not attacking minions. I'm just going to concentrate like on defense. Well, then you really want to find your spear. You want to find the aerial card. So you need to find Aragorn to be able to get the aerial. So that's why I think for me it was not a big success for a character. Just because it's like, it was very hard to focus on something that she's good at, aside from killing minions, which is, it's a really good quality in a multiplayer, But, you know, with the 35 characters we have now, if I have one character that's only good at one thing, in the end, you know what? I can just live with it. And if I feel like, oh, today we're going to fight a lot of minions, well, I'm definitely going to bring Valkyrie aggression to the table because I think that's the best way to play this character. And that's it. So if you like these videos, give it a like. Please leave some comments at the end of the video. It's always interesting to see what your point of view is on these characters. And then or if you found a strategy with Valkyrie that works for you every time or most of the time, please share it in the comments. I'm always curious. I'm still looking for like a really thematic Valkyrie build that's going to excite me outside of minion killing. But yeah, that's being said, guys. Just have some fun, eh? So remember, enjoy the game and just have some fun and play the game. I'll see you next time. Ciao, ciao.